Since the dawn of consciousness, humanity has shared a singular persistent dream. It is a dream born from watching, from yearning, from staring into the endless blue canvas above. We saw the birds etch their effortless signatures across the sky. We watched leaves dance on the wind, free from the earth that bore them. And in those moments, a question took root deep within our collective soul. Why them? Why can they ascend with such grace, while we remain bound to the soil? This question is not a product of modern curiosity. It is an echo from our most ancient beginnings. We are a species defined by our limitations, yet we have always refused to accept them. We walked the earth until our feet bled, but our eyes remained fixed on the horizon above. We climbed mountains, not just to see what lay beyond, but to get a little closer to the heavens. We built towering structures, reaching like stone fingers toward the domain of gods we imagined flew on feathered wings. The dream was not to ride through the air. The dream was to be of the air. The fundamental barrier has always been our biology. Nature, in its infinite wisdom, did not design us for the sky. Our bones are solid and dense, anchors rather than sails. Our muscles are built for power on the ground, not for flight. Our upright form is elegant but inefficient for navigating the air. We are creatures of the ground, shaped by gravity's pull. We were built to look up but never to go there on our own terms. For centuries, this reality has been the wall against which our dreams have crashed. But now, the tools we once used to study the world are being used to rewrite it. The line between what is natural and what is created is blurring. We are no longer just observers of life's code. We are becoming its authors. The limitations imposed by evolution are becoming suggestions, not laws. The ancient question returns: what if we could challenge nature's design? Our fascination with flight began not as a science, but as a religion. Before we understood aerodynamics, we understood divinity. The sky was a kingdom, a pantheon inhabited by beings who possessed the one freedom we did not. We looked up and saw gods riding chariots of fire, angels descending on luminous wings, and spirits dancing on the very air we breathed. The ability to ascend was the ultimate symbol of power, of otherness, of the divine. Every culture painted the sky with its own winged mythology. In Egypt, Horus soared with the head of a falcon, a divine protector whose gaze saw everything from above. The Greeks gave us Hermes, the messenger god, with winged sandals that let him travel between worlds. The earth was the realm of toil and suffering. The sky, in contrast, was the realm of the sacred and eternal. We built pyramids and cathedrals that scraped the sky, not just as feats of engineering, but as acts of prayer. The dream of flight was born in this crucible of worship and wonder, a longing to join the gods we placed in the sky. While our gods soared freely, our myths about mortal flight were often stories of caution, drenched in tragedy. The most enduring of these is the tale of Icarus and his father Daedalus. Imprisoned in a labyrinth, Daedalus fashioned wings from feathers and wax, a brilliant, audacious solution. Here was the dream made manifest. Humanity, through its own ingenuity, could grant itself the gift of flight. Yet, the story is not one of triumph, but of hubris. Icarus, intoxicated by the ecstasy of flight, forgets his father's warning and soars too high, too close to the sun. The wax melts, the wings disintegrate, and he plummets into the sea, a fallen icon of ambition gone too far. This myth has echoed through the centuries as a powerful warning against overreaching. Yet, even within this cautionary tale, there lies a seed of irresistible inspiration. We remember the fall of Icarus, but we cannot forget the flight. The dream of flight was never content to remain in the realm of myth and imagination. It demanded to be made real, to be translated from the language of gods into the language of mechanics and engineering. The first human attempts to fly were clumsy, often fatal, but profoundly important. They were the first steps in a long, arduous journey to turn a philosophical longing into a physical reality. Early pioneers watched birds, studied the wind, and learned from every failure. Each broken wing and bruised ego was a lesson in the realities of lift, drag, and thrust. Visionaries like Leonardo da Vinci marked a turning point, approaching flight as a problem of science, not magic. His studies and designs became blueprints of ascension based on reason. The dream of flight shifted from myth to method, paving the way for the Montgolfier balloons, Lilienthal's gliders, and the Wright brothers' powered flight, a testament to the relentless human spirit. Humanity's strength is also our limitation. Our bones are dense and heavy, perfect for land, disastrous for flight. Birds have hollow, air-filled bones, making them light enough to soar. Our density is an invisible cage, keeping us earthbound. Even if we could lighten our bones, our muscles would betray us. Human muscles are built for walking, not for the relentless power flight demands. Birds devote a third of their body mass to massive pectoral muscles, anchored to a keel we simply don't have. Our bodies are masterpieces of terrestrial design, but utterly incompatible with the mechanics of flight. Gravity shapes every aspect of our existence. Our bodies are tuned for life on solid ground, not the chaos of the sky. Birds sense the air with every feather. We would be lost, overwhelmed by flight. The sky is a world for which we are biologically alien. Biology's rules were unbreakable until now. With gene editing tools, we can rewrite our own code. The barriers of bone and density become lines of DNA, ready for editing. The ground is no longer our prison, it's just the beginning. To fly, we need a new engine, synthetic muscle. Scientists are building muscle fibers from polymers and nanotubes, stronger and lighter than nature. Imagine these muscles, controlled by our thoughts, powering wings with precision. The dream of flight moves closer, one engineered muscle at a time. A lighter frame and a more powerful engine are useless without an immense and sustainable source of energy. Flight is a fantastically greedy activity, metabolically speaking. Birds have hearts and lungs fine-tuned over millions of years to fuel their aerial lives. Our own metabolism, by comparison, is like a gas-guzzling car trying to compete in a Formula One race. It would burn out in seconds. To truly fly, we need more than just a new body. We need a new internal power plant, capable of sustaining incredible energy output. The answer may lie in our mitochondria, tiny powerhouses that convert nutrients into the energy of life. Imagine mitochondria that are far more numerous and vastly more efficient, burning through sugars and fats at rates impossible today. We could even integrate new energy systems, biosolar integration, drawing energy directly from the sun. We would literally be powered by the sky we wish to inhabit. Our bodies transform for the immense demands of flight. The final frontier in our quest for natural flight is not in our bodies, but in our minds. A redesigned body is just a vessel. The brain must learn to pilot it. Flying is a complex, three-dimensional dance, requiring instant processing of countless variables. Our brains, shaped by life on the ground, aren't wired for this. We'd need to expand our senses and remap our neural pathways to understand the air. The ultimate change is to our consciousness, turning our minds into flight computers. Neural augmentation could create brain regions dedicated to flight, handling the data flow instinctively. The mind would become the pilot, our thoughts the controls. True natural flight would be a biological process, driven by will and instinct, our minds finally free to own the sky. The dream of flight is a dream of perfection, of flawless ascent and godlike grace. But the path to that dream is paved with imperfection, with trial and error, with failure. In the pristine laboratories where we design our future selves, the line between evolution and mutation is terrifyingly thin. For every successful modification, there could be 1,000 catastrophic mistakes. We are not simply assembling a machine, we are editing the sacred, chaotic text of life itself. A single misplaced gene, a synthetic muscle that fails to integrate, could lead to horrors we can barely imagine. The dream of a flying human could easily become the nightmare of a broken, tormented creature, trapped between states no longer fully human, not yet free. The pursuit of a perfect form could litter the world with imperfect monsters, living symbols of our reach exceeding our grasp. This is the modern Icarus Complex. If we overcome the biological hurdles and perfect the science of flight, a new danger emerges, one that threatens to divide us. The ability to fly won't be universal. At first, it will be a privilege for the wealthy and powerful, a new kind of upgrade. For the first time, humanity could be separated not by class or color, but by the very dimension we inhabit. There will be those who walk the earth and those who own the sky. This isn't just a social divide, it's a biological one, a chasm that may be impossible to cross. The dream of flight, once a symbol of unity, could become the very thing that tears us apart. The most chilling danger is the weaponization of flight. Every new domain we enter becomes a battlefield: land, sea, and sky. We built armies, navies, and air forces. Why would natural flight be any different? The moment a human can soar like a hawk, the idea of turning that power into a weapon will follow. Imagine soldiers who appear from the clouds, silent and swift, striking with precision. The genetic arms race could make the nuclear arms race look primitive. Borders would become meaningless when crossed on silent wings in the night. Once we turn the dream of flight into a weapon, the dream itself is corrupted. We may gain the wings of an angel but still possess the heart of a monster. The sky, our final frontier, could become our most tragic battlefield. Imagine for a moment that we have overcome the challenges. The science is perfected, the ethics debated, and the transition managed. Humanity has taken flight. What would this world look like? Cities would transform, growing upwards instead of outwards. Buildings would open to the sky with perches, balconies, and aerial entryways at every level. Towers would be connected by sky bridges and gardens, weaving a web of life above the earth. The morning commute would become a graceful soar through the air, a silent ballet against the sunrise. Rooftops would become bustling public squares, and parks would cascade down buildings. We would live among the clouds, woven into the very fabric of the sky. The emergence of human flight would do more than reshape our cities. It would transform our culture, our art, and our sense of self. A society that can fly would develop new forms of expression and philosophies, born from a radically different perspective. The experience of soaring, of seeing the world from above, would permeate every aspect of human creativity. Art would move beyond the canvas, embracing aerial sculpture and kinetic installations that dance on the wind. Dance would evolve into a breathtaking three-dimensional art form, performed against the open sky. Qualities like grace, agility, and spatial awareness might become as prized as intelligence or strength. The concept of freedom would become a tangible physical reality experienced daily. Our perspective on life and our place in the cosmos would be irrevocably altered. The human spirit, unchained from the earth, would be free to create, to connect, and to dream in ways we can only begin to imagine. So, will humans ever fly naturally? The question has followed us through millennia, a whisper carried on the wind from our earliest ancestors to our future descendants. We have journeyed from the myths that placed gods in the heavens to the labs that placed the code of life in our hands. We have confronted the profound biological barriers that chain us to the earth and envisioned a future where science empowers us to rewrite those very limitations. The desire to fly is more than a mechanical challenge. It is a spiritual imperative, the ultimate expression of our drive to transcend. The journey toward flight is a journey into the very essence of our species, a species that refuses to accept the world as it is. The dream is not to become birds or angels, but to become a version of ourselves that has finally learned to rise. The sky was never a limit to be broken, but a silent invitation, waiting for us to take that leap.